It's the T.N.F, and it's a quiet T.N.F tonight. I hope everyone's okay. It's the night we hand over the keys to the passengers and let you bring up the talking points. You know, a bit like Judgment Day, a bit like Ask the Bus, a bit like every other show. But, you know, we like to, you know, create its own identity, the T.N.F, and it will be the night, though, very much tonight, that is led by the passengers. There's loads to talk about, as always, but we want you to provide both, not just the judge tonight, but myself as well, with your talking points. As you can see, I'm not headless, Mark. I'm not legless, but I'm headsetless. And that's why we're a wee bit later tonight. I was raiding the flat for it. I don't know what I've done, mate. I've been in the house all week, you know what I mean? Purely. So I don't know how I could possibly have lost it, but there we go. I can't find it anywhere.
I could probably let the dog eat it or something, mate.
The dog ate my headset and my homework all at the same time. But I just feel a wee bit weird being on without my headset. Oh, I'm getting the fiercer. If I look down at the bottom, there's a guy on his holidays. Oh mate, he's cracking a beer. And this is like bus. This is a bus worry. I'll do all that good stuff, and then we'll bring in our guest, right? Oh, for fuck's sake, there's Jack Daniels, everything. Anyway, remember to do the like, share, subscribe, slag the hair, and if you want to become a Boise Bus member, like so many of you legends have, like Stephen Murdoch, Teresa Lyle, Photo, like Jim C, like Martin Weir, like the Boise Bus, so that was me, like Jim Dolan, like Monty, like Gary Patterson, and their newest member, GGR. Then it's $1.99 a month. It's completely optional. Nobody cares. It's all good. We appreciate it as always. Okay, he's on his holidays, but he's clearly got the itch to join in on the old T.N.F. Steve Matt, your Wi-Fi is breaking up a bit, pal, but I hope you're good.
I'm fucking running with a wheelchair.
How you getting
Boys,
on?
it's a fleeting visit. I ain't going to lie. I've got other fish to fry, metaphorically speaking. But I thought I'd drop in because I feel a wee bit guilty. I've been off the radar. I've not been happening. Thursdays I'm normally around, and I thought I'd drop in and say, all right, what's going on?
Well, mate, no, you're more than welcome to do that. Listen, pal, you enjoy your holidays. Brilliant to see you as well, mate. Thank you for joining us. And a big cheers. I bought those exact same sunglasses, by the way, and they got stolen.
Yeah, we have Boise. What's going on? What's happening?
Oh, well, no, good. We're just about to kick off, mate. We've got loads of talking points to get through. Even Google thinks I'm talking to it right now. It's kicking off in the hall. But we are going to be talking tonight
about...
You're breaking up loads, mate, to be honest. It's breaking up like... we could try and roll with it. But if it's breaking up, then you'll kill yourself. But anyway, right. Diaz88 says, the cost of living crisis, Mark. That's why I don't have my headset. I've sent it into cash converters. But anyway, let's go on. Mark, we hope that AJ is going to be back for the Rangers game. Gee, so while I bring up comments, I can get myself in trouble. In fact, who cares? Nobody can get me in trouble anymore. We brought it up for that game. Brendan said 6 to 8 weeks, but hopefully sooner. How big a loss would Alistair Johnston be, Mark? And secondly, to combat that, do you see him going into the next season? If Alistair Johnston isn't fit, will he put his faith in Ralston like he did once before? Because remember, he gave him the first 5-year deal. Or do you think that would be an area he would want to strengthen if the injury is as speculated to be 6 to 8 weeks?
I think he will be for about 6 weeks, and then you're going to get another 2 weeks of recovery time. He'll probably not start the minute he goes back to training, so he's going to miss probably that derby match. And to be honest with you, I don't want to see a guy returning to training on Wednesday night or Thursday night and then being pitched up at Ibrox on the Sunday. I want to see a team motoring on before we come up to a big game like Rangers at Ibrox. So I would play that in the Ralston. I've got no qualms about playing that in Ralston, to be honest with you. I've got faith in him, you know what I mean? And he's played well at Ibrox before, and he's actually performed better than the Croatian we had last year. Far better in derby matches than what he ever has. So I'm quite happy to have him. I think if it's a chance to get an upgrade, if one pops up in the window, then Rodgers should go for it. But I can't see him. I can't see him doing that because I think Alistair Johnston's definitely the number one. I don't think there's any rush to replace him. So if it was up to me, I would just go with Ralston because it's a long season, you know what I mean? And I don't think going to Ibrox with him missing would be a major loss. I'd be more concerned if we went to Ibrox without Carter Vickers, because any centre-back pairing that doesn't include Carter Vickers, for me, doesn't perform well at Celtic. I think the likes of Kobayashi and Welsh and even Starfelt and amongst that mix without Carter Vickers doesn't make for a good reading voice. It's no one that I would particularly want to see in a big match at Ibrox. No way.
I think that's fair. Steve-O, Ralston would be obviously the man sitting in wait to take that jersey, obviously, if Alistair Johnston misses the beginning of the season. I mean, how comfortable, do you think, firstly, your personal opinion on it would be, and do you think it's one that Brendan would want to strengthen as well, or do you think he would be quite relaxed? He has got form for backing Ralston on the bigger occasions, but obviously time plays a part in that as well. Maybe Ralston's not developed as much as Brendan thought, or maybe Brendan will have the same faith in him, but gives both takes.
Ralston will be a Celtic next season.
You don't think he'll be there?
No, I don't think he'll be there. I think, as far as I'm concerned, we've heard the narrative from Brendan Rodgers, and he spoke, and it's quite clear in his language and how he speaks that it's two different dimensions between when he first joined to where he is now. Celtic, as far as my opinion, reading between the lines, Celtic want to level up. Tony Ralston isn't levelling up.
Yep.
You can't have him as a fallback. I think he wants someone who is of Alistair Johnston's standard, if not better, in situ. So I'd be very surprised, very, very, very surprised if Anthony Ralston was in position in lieu of Alistair Johnston getting into the season. Just my opinion, might not happen, but that's how I view. In terms of other positions, I think, like we're talking about Carter Vickers, he seems to be injured, but he seems to be kind of walking and what have you. Well, we'll see how that works out. But I think at this moment in time, I've been laughing, I've been a wee bit frustrated at social media. The amount of times I see like, can anybody spy such and such in the background? Who gives a fuck? Nobody cares, mate.
Nobody cares, mate.
Like literally nobody. Can anybody tell me if you can see such and such and he did in the background? Who cares? Who cares? Doesn't matter.
I think that's natural though, Steve-O, in the summer window. I think there's two sides to it. I think we're quite our childishness, and that's not a bad thing, with it, because Celtic's meant to be a thing of romance, something that we all love, and I think we want to be excited throughout the summer, and the way to excite fans during the summer is by signings in the door. I happen to be, for the first time in a long time, I'm very zen that the guys who've signed, I don't think are Brendan signings yet. I think we'll see the difference when Brendan makes signings. I'm very much in the boat of, let's just let this play out. I'm not stressing over it.
If you look in my mouth, that's where I'm at. I really am not concerned whatsoever. I genuinely believe there's irons in the fire. There'll be players that will turn up and we'll see what's happening. And I found it really quite refreshing today in particular, whenever he spoke and he done the interview and he was asked about, Mikey Johnson's doing well, do you want him to? He just went, no, it's up to him. That's the attitude I want.
That's true.
That to me sums up where Celtic are at, where Brendan Rodgers are at, where he's thinking. So, as you said, I'm very zen. It makes me comfortable to think that the idea of we're going to go into a game with, say first game of the season with the proverbial beat on at full back situation, i.e. Ralston at right back, I don't think that's going to be the case. Like, I don't have that fear of we've got a plethora of shit that are just going to get dropped in because we've not got anybody. I don't think that's going to happen. So, I'm very cool about it.
Well, you're looking cool in that shirt as well, mate. I've got to say, you're looking great, mate. I hope you're having a great time in your holiday. Mark, in terms of other players, I don't know. I don't remember that being part of the point, but it's good that Steve-O got that out there as well. And he says he's taking the conversation any direction that the big man wants. And why not when you're on holiday? Steve-O puts in a lot of work in his free time. on the bus when he's had wee holidays and stuff. So I don't mind someone coming on and showing they're enjoying themselves. And by the way, I think when it comes to signings, I tend to agree with him. You did Judgment Day last night, though, Martin. You are slightly different, I would say. I don't think you're not at the panic merchant stage in terms of signings whatsoever. But you related a few things to going, is it fair, though, to say we've seen this movie before up to now? We have. And then it doesn't play out the way we seem to be, the likes of myself, Steve-O perhaps, are very confident that it will play out to be a far, far better summer than the last couple, and obviously what we traditionally do in the summer. What leads you to that? Now I've got an opportunity to ask you a wee bit more in depth. Where do you actually stand? Because I think you're giving balance to the debate last night and saying, well, just remember this board also tend to, bring in £2 million signings and then go, that's your whack. And then it could be a scramble at deadline day. Are you suggesting that is what will happen? Or do you think it could be, still a brilliant summer as well, but it's just you're looking at both avenues as being potential possibilities?
I think it's fair to look at both avenues. I don't think we can sit and tell people to calm down or whatever. We've had it for 30, 40 years, the same carry on with the board, not really bringing in the players. And I think, to be honest with you, Rodgers has only been in the door a couple of weeks for the players, so he's got to analyse that squad before I think he will know what players he wants to upgrade before he even took his first training session. I'm not lying, I think he's done a lot of analysis. I'm pretty sure, just watching videos of Celtic, he's probably had all the information sent over by the club's analysis department to give him a look at what he needs to improve on. I'm pretty sure he knows. But when you go for a higher level of player, then negotiations do take a bit longer because other clubs are involved and all the rest of it. So I'm not panicking at all. But I don't think it's right for me or any other to say to folk, like, calm down. I don't think that's fair. People are what I say, look, hang on a minute here. Where's our signings? You know what I mean? And to my mind, we're a worse team the day when we finished up cup final day because we've lost Jota. So folk are saying, look, we've got a game in like 2.5 weeks. What happened to Celtic's new look, bringing players in, getting them up to speed? I'm not saying that. I'm saying that. I'm just saying that that's something that you've got to appreciate. People have got
it's
that.
It's a different angle, Mark. You're giving balance to the debate, mate.
Aye, and I think, to be honest with you, as far as I'm concerned, I was expecting something to happen this week. But I think if I'm sitting this time next week, boys, saying, and there's still nothing happening, I will be saying, look, where are we going? And that includes the signing of Maeda. I know it's not the question you asked me because it's a different avenue, but I do think the signing Maeda did give me a wee bit of, I think it's a club, definitely the club's protecting an asset. That's definitely a big part of it, but I don't think that should have been a priority for the club this summer. I don't see many offers coming in for him this summertime or even fairly soon. I just thought, is that our first 11? Is that our winger? I'd be a bit perturbed with that. I'm going to be honest with you. But to be honest with you, I think Brendan Rodgers is going to go for a higher calibre player than what we've seen. But what I will say is, and it's not that I've got any facts behind it. I've got a very strong feeling that Celtic will leave this window spending less money than what they've took in, Boise. I just can't see spending another 22 million, mate. I saw this movie before at Celtic, and we've sat with tens of millions of pounds in our pocket before and brought in Jeremy Toljan and brought in that boy Jack Hendry. It wouldn't surprise me if we get like a £5-6 million player, like a marquee kind of. Although for me we could be spending 15 million, but we won't. We just won't. I think I'm more likely to see the marquee signing. I think will be a bad move, but I think the big player will probably be one on loan, about one player, which is fine. I think, but to me it's mere short termism. If this club is backing the manager, I think we should be seeing progressive signings this summer, and I don't mean somebody to come in and be a backup to Greg Taylor. I'm talking about somebody that's better than Greg Taylor and somebody that's better than Matt Riley, for instance. I just want to see upgrades over the park. I'm confident our manager can bring up to the level that we all expect and probably surpass what we're all hoping. But it doesn't mean that the board are going to back him long term. I'm not convinced to that stage just yet, boys. I think Just my opinion. I think I'm not there yet when it comes to the board. I'm very suspicious of the people that run our club, and I think I always will be until certain people are gone over the house and probably buried.
Well, I think there's two sides to it. I think we've got to be, for me, if we're going to get the best possible targets that do the upgrades that we speak of, Steve, then I think that will take.
That's true, mate. That's a fact.
I don't think we can have. We're not in a position we can compete and get these guys in at the ideal time, because then the guys we got at the ideal time. See, when people speak about Angie's record was, a really high strike rate and it didn't stop him getting players early. That's bollock. Maida, we just spoke about there, he couldn't get in his first window. He had to wait to January to get Maida in. That's 4 months later. Not a couple of fucking weeks. And that was his number one target. But he still got him. And if we're talking about levelling up here, Steve-O, the way I see it is there's just a need. My honest hunch is, though, I actually think there will be a few incomings in the next 3 to 7 days.
I'll go outright because I'm going to dip out after this. Got to get back to the family. But what I will say is that I totally agree. I share Mark's scepticism, where you're kind of a wee bit worried again that. But what I would say is if we are to believe the wording from the club, from Brendan Rodgers, and even today when he spoke and they were talking Europe and stuff, and it sounded very much more optimistic than we're acquainted to with Celtic these days. I think the signings will come. What I would say is not what any fans want to hear. Now, there's the argument of the money's there, just make it happen. I think, as you alluded to as well, that Celtic with Rodgers will be swimming in different waters. And by different waters, I mean you'll be looking at guys who have, let's face it, have options out there. Now, you and I, as fans, can say signing for Celtic and playing the Champions League should be all you fucking need. But unfortunately, in the real world, with top-class players, it's more than just, you're Celtic, do you know what I mean? And what you can offer. And we're going to have to get more used to that situation whereby if we're looking at better quality targets, that's going to be a case of sitting off until things have calmed down across Europe. Now, fans don't want to hear that, but I genuinely believe that's the case, because if we are to go like that against these other clubs, financially, we can't compete. And I'm not talking about offering 10, 15 million, whatever it is, because we can. But in terms of wages and whole package, we can't compete. So in some respect, we will get quality players in that are maybe without club or in limbo. And we just need to sit back and accept
limbo doesn't happen this early in the window. That's the reality. Limbo right now, you've got an agent grafting. An agent right now is grafting, going to one of 50 clubs. Come on, he's available. And these will be clubs, 9 times out of 10, that can afford more than us. We need all those situations to peter out.
I think we deserve better than Limbo. I think we deserve better than Limbo, to be honest.
I'm saying, I don't think by Limbo, I'm not necessarily saying that we're in a situation where we can't necessarily compete. I get what you're saying. But what I mean is take, for example, the most recent name that was thrown out was Tete, right? At Shakhtar. Quality player, right? Now, let's be honest here. Quality player who's going to get an absolute plethora of offers, right?
Yep.
Now, they might be as sexy as Champions League football, but they'll be a hell of a lot more sexy in terms of wages, signing on fee, and forget the Champions League. You might be in Champions League, but the general league will be better, okay? That's who we're competing against. So my point being is there'll be one or two guys that we can go out, we can pick off and we can bring in. However, if we're looking at slightly higher bracket guys, will be guys that the deal just doesn't quite happen for them.
Yeah,
that's when Celtic come in.
I agree with that for what it's worth. I do actually agree with that.
That's the thing. That's what we are. If we want to be shooting for the sky, whether fans want to admit it or not, we're not going to be shooting for the sky and getting these guys left, right, centre in the season. It's just not happening. It isn't happening. Folk don't want to hear that, but that's the reality of it. Celtic aren't going and picking up guys for 10, 12, 15 million, even 9 million guys. Celtic aren't going out and picking those guys out. Those are guys who don't have offers elsewhere. Look at Ekblad. $1 million. Who else is offering him anything? Nobody was. That's why he came to Celtic. That's the point. That's where we're at. And I think fans need to eat that.
Well, I think that's fair, Steve. Well round up.
Guys, I'm going to be back to drink. Enjoy your night. Love it.
Top man, cheers for jumping on, pal. You take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Right, Matt, I think there's an element of truth in what you said. I mean, the Teddy guy that Steve-O brings up, 25 goals in 75 games for Shakhtar. He went to Lyon. He got 8 in 26. Then a bit of a disappointing spell at Leicester, albeit Leicester were a disappointment on the whole. And a side that was regarded, I think, too good to go down until they went down. I suppose it's funny because they were never good enough to win the league, and they won the league a few years before that. But it was Rodgers who brought him on loan to Leicester on the back of those 2 successful spells. If there's availability for someone like that, I do agree that there will be interest wide across the board in someone like that. And it is maybe, Matt, if we want that next level, it's these situations we are just going to fucking need to bite the bullet and let them peter out. And maybe, do you know what? The token gesture signings that we've had, by the way, fingers crossed they fucking come and surprise us all and make an impact, by the way. Let's not write them off before they've kicked the ball in terms of home or Tilio. Let's just say, well, when you come, they might be the signings and the recontracts that Celtic did. We'll do that as part of the waiting process. But if we get 1 of or 3 out of this list of 10, fans are going to be proper excited come the end of the window.
I think the other 2 boys reminds me of the Shaw and the Goody deals. I think they were happening anyway. You know what I mean? No, I don't mean the level of player. Although anybody that's watched Holmes' best bits, I mean, they must have been having a fucking laugh when they made that video. You should YouTube that, boys and gears a wee giggle.
I did watch it. I watched
that was ridiculous, wasn't it? I don't that. They call that
a lot of breaks in his own half, a lot of 10-yard dribbles,
and then fills. I think if Rangers signed him, I'd be saying that as a Rangers player to try and win as many free kicks as possible, because that's Rangers' game, especially in Europe. So that was I just watched it. It was 5 yards, fill, 10 yards, fill, then a pass out the park. It was like really ridiculous. But I think he might be a better player in his video. But I meant the 2 types of players that I think need to have a set up probably before Rodgers come in, like Shaw and Urigude. I don't mean they're off that level. I don't mean that at all. Of course, I think everybody kind of accepts that the players who we want, who are going to be of a higher level, it takes me negotiations. You're not going to somebody and saying, do you want to play for Celtic? And they're falling off their chair in excitement. They've probably got offers in, you know, like probably bottom half EPL teams and probably Saudi Arabia. I mean, it's a new big league. It's kicked off now. There's players leaving top class teams in England. Even Marius, he's left Man City, I believe, to go to Al or something tonight. That's what he's about to anyway. So there's players going to be leaving big clubs. So I dare say that Celtic are in that market. This is the thing. Although we lost Jota to that market, I don't think we're in that market as such. We're still looking to pluck off some of the ones that are a bit seen as undesirable or not tapped up yet. My concern is these players take time, but my concern is that Celtic start running down the list, and then you're talking 4 days before the window and you've got in the Motherwell keeper or something like that. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm just saying that this is the window we've seen before. I mean, don't forget, Jota, Carter Vickers, and Carter Vickers was brought in by accident. Carter Vickers was brought in because of his deal to go somewhere else fell through at 11:57. We come at 11:59. Jota was the last day of the window, and there was another player the last day of the window who were 3 good players for Celtic. Jackie Marcus. So let's no pretend that even Celtic under Ange, who we all assume was so proactive, were proactive then, because they weren't that proactive. You know what I mean? They were lucky, I suppose, in that window finished off, because it didn't start the way it finished off. You know what I mean?
They had to take their opportunities, though, Matt, when it arose. And if you actually flip it a wee bit, pal, I would also say they got the guys they'd identified way before. They just had to play the long game. Now, I appreciate. Don't get me wrong, though, as well. Do you honestly believe all the timelines of events of these are trying? There's a hell of a lot of dramatic effect involved as well to keep us on the edge of our seat. I don't think it's as straightforward as, the facts came through 23 seconds before the end of the day.
Well, how many times have we saw players train in the morning? And if they're trained for Celtic, then they're announced at 9:30 at night. You go, they were saying last year to the year. I mean, I don't believe the timeline either, but
do we take that on board as well then? Can we take that a wee bit on board?
I've no took it off the table at all. I mean, everything that Steve said, everything that you said, I totally back. You know, I mean, I think if you're going to be trying to get a higher calibre player, there's going to be more offers in the Scottish Premier League. I can assure you that. But the only point I was making, it's worth considering, and it's worth mentioning. It's like when folk tell folk to calm down and sharp on Twitter, I feel like just giving him a shake and just saying, look, listen, hang on a minute here. This guy when he woke up this morning and just decided that this is how Celtic behave. This is decades of watching Celtic at work. You know what I mean? And Celtic being proactive isn't normal. So when folk think to themselves, all right, and you said the other day there's like 30 or 40 days left of this window. I still believe we've got another player or two to go. I think there will be. I think there might be offers for. I still believe that there'll be an offer for Hatate. I think there will be. Whether he takes it, and I think Matt O'Reilly will go to upgrade on him, boys. So there's positions I think we'll go to upgrade at least on one of the fallback areas, centre back areas, midfield areas. We need a striker. We need probably at least 2 wingers. So there's a lot of work to be done, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm no panicking. I've already stated. I think if we get to this time next week and there's nobody in, and we've got a game in like 10, 12 days, I don't want to start the season and we've got a back four worse than it was last season for injuries, a midfield the same as last season, and a front three worse than it was last season. If we get to that the first game of the season and we've got Maeda, Nejota, Kyogo and Abada, and a midfield three the same, and we've got Ralston, Taylor, Welsh and Starfelt, I'll be happy with that. I think the Celtic fans who have pumped in hundreds of pounds, hundreds of millions of pounds in the last 6 years, you're talking maybe almost £500 million Celtic have made in the last 8 years or so. We've breached £100 million 3 times alone in that last 8 years. So for Celtic to get that's real figures. I'm not making it up.
No.
That was about £500 million we've made, right? In a league competing against guys like St Mirren, who's paying guys £40,000 a year. So we expect to win the league. What I'm saying is, if we start the season again for the second season in a row, which we discussed last summer, with the same starting 11, if not an inferior one, considering Jota's away, I think there'll be Celtic fans legitimately saying to themselves, what happened to all that money? Why is there nobody in yet? Why is there not at least some action? Why was the button not pressed earlier on targets, and then like the Howe deal before, guys who are on the edge, why not say, look, we're not waiting to 5 days before the window closes for you to change your mind and go to Bournemouth. We want decisions a bit earlier because we don't want to get stung with losing our first and second targets because they waited and waited and waited. We've let our second target go somewhere else and our first target's just turned around and went to Bournemouth. Or I don't know, West Ham, for talk's sake. I just don't want to see that. So they should, and they could, because we're probably in the best financial position we've probably been in our history. And if as a fan base, the day we've unleashed a new home kit and training range, it costs £50 a t-shirt, £100 a jumper. We deserve better than like guys who are thinking about it. We deserve better than that, boys. That's just my opinion. It's no always, but
we're jumping ahead. Because I actually agree with you we'll talk about the strips in a wee minute. Because
I've
started on the comments for the passengers about the home top. I am convinced actually that in the next 3 to 7 days we will see at least one, if not two, of those signings. Right? I think it will be in the near future. I think it will be before the next T.N.F. There'll be at least one, if not two. And then we'll go our Brendan's, and we'll all sit once that's done and go, Do you know what? And I'm going to use actually a word you use, Mark, just to be a dick. But actually, because I actually agree with it, to be fair. You always describe Brendan Rodgers, time and time again, you've done it, as meticulous. Well, I want him to be meticulous in all areas. Mm-hmm. If that means he goes, fucking shut up for a minute and let me get the right guy, not a guy because of a date. The date means fuck all to me, the 13th of July right now. The date that matters is the day this boy signs. And I ain't got it done yet. And we're getting it done not just on his terms, but on our terms as well. It's something that we can afford. And it's going to be, we need to wait for that situation to play out. That situation to play out. But trust me, it's happening. I also cannot disagree and say, from a year ago when we were doing these shows, just me and you, it was a T.N.F, and we spoke about the boards whack a bollocks in a summer window. And we spoke at length about how it was a repetitive cycle we were in. I did all that then, and I can't deny it, so I don't want it to sound too like, well, you've changed your tune based on a managerial appointment. Or can I? I genuinely feel that has swung my opinion, or the pendulum of my thoughts, Mark, massively. I am in this, trust me, if you'd said Rodgers will be in for the start of next season, I'd have been buzzing anyway. But I knew he would come back at some point. But I always knew the day Rodgers came back, things would have to have changed at boardroom level. In my opinion, that would have meant personnel, if I'm honest. Right? That would have meant there'd be a new board and Peter Lawwell wouldn't be there, for example, let alone his son, let alone all the rest of the same cronies who played musical chairs. However, notwithstanding that, I also look at Brendan as the guy who left the club he supports, and he did want a career move. He's admitted that. He doesn't apologise for it. So nobody can fucking say anything to that, to be perfectly honest with you. When he's never apologised for it, he says, and I won't, it was a career move. But what we know as fans, reading between the lines, who live and breathe this on a daily basis, and that's not because of I've got the bus or any of that shit. I could have fucking argued with someone 10 years ago about not pushing the Blether for Alfred Finnbogason when New Lennon was first in charge. And the debates I was having on Celtic forums at that time, Mark, was the exact same way. I just have the luck to be able to do it on a platform like this now. However, he would not have came back to go back to the world of missing out on a Finnbogason from 10 years ago or a John McGinn 4 years ago.
I agree, mate.
There's no danger he's done that. And that gives me the confidence this has to have been a sea land change, Mark.
Deep sea world.
A deep sea world change at Celtic at board level that has given him the confidence and I thought he had the brass neck to come back, right? I always felt he would have the brass neck to come back one day, but I always knew it would have to be on his terms. He's not just going to walk in and
that's got to have changed.
Same as last time, guys. He's not came back here to do the same as last time.
No,
so
that's a fact.
It's not calm down, Mark. It's not calm down, I would like to say to people. I think that's wrong. I would just call for patience right now. And just, if you're on the same boat as I am with regards to the excitement at the managerial appointment, the fact he's on record wages, the fact Callum McGregor's now on club record wages, then we need to look at it and go, expect then a wee bit, have higher expectations of this summer, how the rest of it will play out. And I'm going to live in that land until the 31st of August.
No, I think that's right. I think we all agree with that. I mean, when they come back with the same promises, no chance. I mean, the minute that guy was appointed, you were saying to yourself, well, he wouldn't have come back if he was getting told the same shite. Peter Lawwell and all the rest of it, giving him to, don't know.
Hello!
She's come in drunk 2 seconds.
That's all right, mate. Don't worry. Don't worry. That's the judge laying down the law there. You could see that all he was missing was a hammer to go, I'm on the pod.
I say I'm on the pod. Come in drunk, man.
Alana's great, mate.
Hello. Oh, she was doing a charity walk, so she's come in drunk.
Quite right.
And I'm not sure we're saying that at 5 o'clock in the morning when she's up for work. But no, I mean, definitely. I mean, I think you're saying about the board, and that's why, as I say, I'm no panicking about it at all. I mean, if it came across that way, then I must have been kind of putting it across wrong. But I just think,
mate, I'm just giving the.
I think it's fair. I think it's fair. I'm just trying to give a wee kind of case for the the defence or the offence, what you want to say, like in terms of like, I can see why people are saying like, sending the wee emojis like, come on Celtic, what he's doing. I can see why they're doing it. They've been doing this path before, and I'm as positive as me to look at as I've ever been for a long time for Celtic, because I'm excited about this manager. But I stand by what I said. I don't want to get into the first home match and we've got a worse first 11 than we finished the season with, boys. I think that'd be a slap in the face for the Furies. Bearing in mind, better players do take time, and as you say, it doesn't matter if you get the right man on the last day of the window. I totally see that point. I just think we as fans are quite rightly saying, if somebody are saying, what's going on here? I mean, I know you've got to talk about strips, but we're in the middle of July and we've already released 2 strips for a start, sold out a season ticket. We'll probably get the third biggest season ticket base this side of Europe. You know what I mean? If you're lucky, if there's 5 bigger season ticket holders bases in the full of Europe, never mind this side of Europe. So Celtic fans quite rightly put high expectations on the club, and I don't think it's no that I'm saying you are. I don't think it's for anybody to be going like calm down or being dramatic, or even the people who are totally zen like you are just as valid with their opinion as the folk that are setting their hair on fire. As far as I'm compared, I'm the middle. I'm the middle. I'm kind of like, just I'd rather get the right players in, but I'm expecting movement fairly soon. I think that's fair.
Well, so do I. I think as well we need to get back to the fact that I just think we're conditioned as football fans. I would take this further than Celtic, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think football fans want their club to spend their summer signing players. That's how you fill your match day fix. Folk don't realise that's what it is for them. That's how you get your my club are doing something for me, and they want to see that ambition, and then they want that reignition of excitement for the coming season, dictated by said signings. Now, the one thing I would also add with it is, you're right. There's absolutely 2 sides to the coin, and I've got no issue with anyone who expects signings to be done. I'm just very much right now being led by a faith I've put in an elite manager who I think has got his autonomy back at the football operation that he should have had going into his 3rd season at the club. Otherwise, I don't think he'd be back. And I'm just, do you know what? In fact, I'll go as far as this. In Brendan, I trust. Now, I fucking hated that with Postecoglou before, because he took the job on a whim. It was an opportunity for him. It was a career move for him. Rodgers has came back. He has came back to Celtic, mate, for a reason. And everything now that he does in that period of time, whilst it might shine up his CV and look all good, that's now not his priority this time around. His priority is Celtic and making that impact at the next level, and obviously dominating domestically as well. And he's obviously been given assurances we can take it to another level to do so. I think he will. So. Let's talk about the strips, Matt. They got released today or the other day. Celtic did a bit of PR this morning about the new home kit. I think now there's a turnaround happening, which I envisaged. I've got to be honest. I think the home kit I said for the get-go, not trying to be a smart ass. I just thought that will go down well. But eventually, see, at first when you just see the wee corners of the shoulders and stuff, you go, oh Jesus, okay, the long sleeve kit doesn't do it any favours. See, when you see it in the flesh, I went, this is us entering a new generation of Celtic. And I think you need to understand, see, when sponsors first came on shirts, that was a new era for not just Celtic, but football clubs around the globe. Then it became Umbro signs. Imagine that was just Adidas logos right through the hoops now. I think folk would go mental at that, sir. Yeah, it's one of the most bought retro kits online. That old, the one that McStay the penalty against Wraith Rovers. That's Umbro's own logo. It's nothing to do with Celtic. Absolute branding all through each green hoop. Now, when you think about it like that, these tops eventually stand the test of time and got bought like fuck. This one will do the same. Now it's the reality, and it's not that fan pressure was going to get it, overthrown, It's like the kit's coming. I think the more you see it, I do stand by the long sleeve one, looks a bit naff. I'm convinced this will be, firstly, the biggest selling home top that Adidas have done for Celtic. This is their 4th number. I think this will be the biggest selling, and I think this will be the one that you will see out of if any of the 4 home tops, 4 hoops that Adidas have done so far. I'm not talking about the aways, I'm talking about the home kits. I think this will be the only one that stands a chance of being on retro.com / buy a Celtic shirt for 20 quid.com. You know what I mean? I think it'll be this one.
Well, I've bought it, mate, whether I like it or no. I buy it, you know what I mean? So it's supposed to come this morning, but it looks like it's going to be here tomorrow. But anyway, it could be alone this year and I still buy it, to be quite honest with you. And that proves your point. I think folk are going to buy it anyway. It is a bit modern, as Celtic like to. They're branding it as this modern, fresh approach. I'm a traditionalist boy, so I've said it a million times. I wouldn't even necessarily to put the badge on it. If I would just have the strip for 1903 and just leave it, that's me. But I'm totally with people who want to move with the times. I think the away taps are where you can experiment and all the rest of it. But it's a nice design once you forget that Celtic fans are conditioned, because Celtic strips mean a lot to Celtic fans, especially the home strip. I think it's probably one of the most iconic strips in the world. I mean, red could be Liverpool, Man U, it could be a number of teams, but the hoops, I think if you ask any football fan, they know it's Celtic. So we take a lot of pride in that. And when you see which in the face you look like a shocker or a kit, you're a bit annoyed about it. But with a few shocking kits, you know what I mean? And I'm no all that convinced it's gorgeous, but when I see it in the flesh, the model or whatever, I'll probably change my mind. But it's modern, it looks different. Although they've blended modern with stained glass windows for the entrance for the 70s, but or whatever decade they took it away. But do you know what? Celtic have used that a few times, stained glass, but when the black away kit for last season, the Celtic on the back was all stained glass, wasn't it? It was all cracked, and I think Adidas have been, the two are sitting in Adidas stuff now, and my cupboard's full of it. You've seen it, and I think they've been pretty poor for Celtic, to be quite honest with you. But the home kits in particular, I've everyone have brought out, people have been going, what's that? But I think it's the same with every kit. I've never seen a kit Celtic have made where every fan goes, oh, that's brilliant. I mean, the Bumblebee kit is, for me, is one of the most iconic strips we've ever produced. But when it was brought out, there was folk saying, what the fuck's that? That's a bit wacky. You know what I mean? And it's probably just as much a seller on the websites as any other kit is. So I see your point. I think the training range came out the day I know, and I think my brother, he went to Celtic shop to see them today, and he said that I was looking forward to the grey stuff because I thought it looked pretty nice, but he said some of it looks a bit shit and tacky, but it's pretty expensive, man. I know. I honestly see the.
Go and talk to me about some of the prices.
Well, the t-shirts are there £100, £50 for the wee stupid t-shirts, and the rest of them are £100 or £85.
50 for the training t-shirt.
Training t-shirts, that's £50 for that. And the shorts are £40. And I think we've got premium branding in Adidas. You know what I mean? They're a well-established kit maker. Although I've mentioned the quality to use a few times. I actually told Phil this last week. I bought the black away shorts for the goalkeeper shorts last season. I bought them for holiday.
Mark was not trialing on goals.
No, I mean I'd be 5 aside. I wouldn't touch the crossbar. But so I only wore them like once, right? And so see your Celtic jumpy around just now, that will say Aero Ready on it or something. Is it Aero Ready right here, right? So see when the shorts the back, it says the same thing, but I washed it, right? So you see that's kind of embossed on that. It was after one washing, it was half peeled off, and I swear that's doing my Wayne's life. Seen I peeled it off, underneath it was like Techno Ready or something. So I googled it, and it was like the Adidas shorts you buy for like £6 and £7, like the cheap ones. It's like they just put a Celtic badge on it. This is hand to God. What? I swear on my Wayne's life, mate. Swear on my Wayne's life. I couldn't believe it. I took my last scene there to my holiday, and I went, what the fuck? And I don't know if you remember the green zipper, the first Adidas zippers they brought out. They were on the website for like £30, but the exact same zipper with the Celtic badge on it was £85, and it was the same kit, it was the same fucking tap, you know what I mean? And they've just, and I noticed a couple of years ago that we were getting Arsenal's previous season's training range. I watched the Arsenal Till I Die on Amazon, and I went, fuck's sake, this is last season that they were in this season's training range. So I just googled some photographs, and the tarts we were wearing like this, that was the previous season's Arsenal's kits, Arsenal's. I mean, you can't. I'm doing a tangent here, but I'm just saying I'm not been that impressed with Adidas, and I think that the free kits this season, I think the black kit is beautiful, and the blue one, the blue one, sorry, the kind of grey one that I got by mistake earlier. Remember that? I had it on yesterday's show. That's a cracker as well. When you see it in the flesh, it's a cracker. So this home kit might surprise folk. I mean, to be honest with you, see the home kit. I think it's putting folk off is the black stripes, boys. I think that's the only thing that's about it. You know what I mean? I don't like it.
Is it a harshness though? They've went for it. This is to catch your eye. This is to be controversy, mate. Sometimes.
It's
Why do you think there's a judgment day on the bus?
Is that? I know, mate. No, and I always go off in these tangents.
That's a joke.
But see, I wonder if anybody who's got. I've got a thing about football Celtic shorts. I keep on buying them a bit. So that's the ones I didn't have. Was the black ones for last year's a goalkeeper kit. I wonder if there's anybody watching who's maybe get the goalkeeper kit for last year, and I wonder if it's happened to them because I only watched them once. The black with the wee grey bit, and I honestly God, I hope somebody from the club who might be having a daft day and just watching this show. I mean, I'm telling you, I was going to take a photograph and send it to Phil. I go on my phone straight away and send Phil a wee voice note. And he's like, I'm not surprised it's what these manufacturers do. But so I did still go to this kind of kit range that they give you, like CDC, like I don't know, Clack and Cudden wearing Adidas strips. They get like the kind of cheaper ones. But this was like, so this was, so see the shorts. It was like I couldn't believe it. I looked at the other goalkeeper shorts for last season, and that one wasn't stitched on. That one wasn't stuck on. It was like and kind of like on like that. You know what I mean? It was. You get what I'm saying? But this one was like a label, and just one wash that peeled off. They must have thought, I'll be lying, nobody will notice. You know what I mean? And it's come off in one wash, and it was all hanging like that.
You would expect better than that, pal. You would expect better than that.
See, so I get into the Celtic show quite a lot if I arrive at Celtic shop early. So I go about and I always touch the stuff when I buy it and see that tap, that's a built-in tap. But see the shorts, the trousers that go with that, they're nasty and cheap looking. That tap's a belter. It deserves a nice range with it. You see the trousers to go with it with the wee white triangle. I couldn't get it my size. I tried it about 3 or 4 times and I couldn't get it my size, mate. But the trousers are dead. I don't know, like naff joggies feel about them, you know what I mean? Just utter shite. And
well, do you know what? I'm gonna counter it a wee bit because I have Real Madrid trackies, right? And I just needed a pair of trackies, right? I was on M&M Direct because it was free delivery, and I was like, fuck it, just a pair of trackies, mate. Do you know what I mean? In the winter, can't be the house. Nobody cares, mate. They were 15 quid. I actually thought they were black. They're fucking maroon. They're the worst things I've ever seen in my life. So they only see the 4 walls of my living room, right? And even at one point, I'm sure my shadow went. They're that thin way. Like I was like, I'd bought Sweden ones a few years before. Real quality nylon, like the proper material. They felt good and they lasted the test of time. The Real Madrid ones are fucking. I would agree with you. They're naff. I just think maybe fashion's changing. Maybe they're just the type of clothes. I don't agree though with that goalkeeper shorts thing. I mean, there's no excuse for that. Absolutely. I mean, that's just mental. I'd be raging at that.
Aye.
Go on. We'll talk about it a couple of things. Daily Record's been doing a lot of reports. Fans feel they need to make headlines, and again, we could look at it that way, or we could just indulge in the tale because it's one that I have speculated on in the bus. So I like to be proven right. So I'm going to use the Daily Record as a source of evidence to prove I'm right, even though I don't really mean that, ladies and gentlemen. Just so you know, right before everyone gets fucking carried away. I said 2 weeks ago, I think BR will definitely be looking at Kieran Tierney.
Mm-hmm.
The reports today are Kieran Tierney would be interested already, and it would take a wage slash to make a sensational return. Obviously, that would only be a loan, I think, Mark. The judge is away. He's holding court.
Oh, the light. Put the light on.
Oh, right. I was like, she's
Sorry,
fell over.
mate. We're trying to make her save there. And my shorts.
That's what I thought, mate. Nice butt mark, mate.
Oh, thank you, mate.
Still
Work
got
yourself.
it, son. Still got it, mate. But the KT thing is a story that will not go away. And I think we need to get our heads around the fact that whether we can go, no, it will never happen. I think the second, until the day he leaves Arsenal, is the only day you can say that. See, once he's still at Arsenal, it's a story that ain't going anywhere. And as I've said before, my conviction is Brendan Rodgers has either spoke to KT direct or spoke to Celtic and has told them that would be a person of interest. Whether it be a loan, whether it be a transfer, and everyone wants to get, all clap and all that. Shut up! We're just talking about, does Brendan Rodgers fancy Kieran Tierney at Celtic? Does he think it's potentially possible? Leave them to run all the books on this one, right? Let's just have the debate about the scenario of, would Brendan want KT? And would KT, if surplus or going to be used as a very infrequently used substitute or a cup player at Arsenal, be interested in return to Celtic? Let's have that debate, Matt.
I think he would. I mean, I think it's according to the reports that he's been asked the question, and I think it would have been. The thing about football is it's a small world and they all talk. And if there's a chance of him to come to Celtic, you've got to look at that boy, say, because he's an absolute class act. And for what I was reading, I didn't see the word loan mentioned. I didn't see that mentioned at all. And the good thing about Celtic is we've got a percentage of the fee back. So that will come after what we pay for it. So if so much is it?
20% minimum anyway.
So that would come after the fee basically. So if we can negotiate, that could be as much as £5 million. I'm just guessing numbers, but see if we could get him for like 13, 14 million, that would be one that Celtic I think would go fuck it. And I would, if that's where Marquis signing, I would take that because we're not getting back the same player who left who was already class. This is a genuine bona fide world class player in my opinion. I believe he is.
He walks into the team, Mark. He walks into your fucking team. That's the thing you keep criticizing about is guys that they go, love that player, but this guy just takes your place because he's that good. No offense to the guy walking out. It's not our problem to worry about that. All the best to you. But he just walks in and takes your place. Greg Taylor was brilliant for us last year. Undeniably did really well, particularly domestically. Kieran Tierney takes your jersey. But shake your hand, Greg. Sit on the bench. Try and take your opportunity when it comes. It won't make any odds, but good luck to you.
He's able to do it because I think one thing about Tierney is his fitness, his problems. He might miss 10, 15 games this season. And if you've got somebody to keep Greg Taylor's ability as a backup, I mean, that's a brilliant backup, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And he's humble. The guy's humble. He's came for Kilmarnock and he's bided his time at Celtic before the fans took to him, and he's took his opportunity with both hands, and with that brings a kind of humbling experience where it might not be like one of the big stars wanting about that dressing room, swinging his dick about, you know what I mean? He will be like humble enough to say, look, I am what I am, you know what I mean? Let's say, of course, I mean, if we get one,
like we would be.
So 26.
Difficult to fathom, mate.
Aye, I think we could.
He would have players. He would have players outside the ground. Maybe players as well. I think he would be if he returned. Not because of the money involved, but the money would be involved, obviously, to get him back. I think you'd have fans outside the ground for KT coming back. I think if you don't think that tickles his pickle, you're mad. If you think he's going to take a wee backward step to a Bournemouth just to get game time in the EPL or go home, he picks home every day. I don't think folk get that, especially when you've got, as you know, I'll do it again, Mark. Hello, Katie, it's me.
Look at the watch, the eyes. I think if anybody can persuade him to come to Celtic, it is him, because Brendan Rodgers works wonders with Kieran Tierney. I think a lot of the groundwork was done with Ronnie Dyler, but I think the progression of that player into the player he became was Brendan Rodgers all over him, all over it. And I think he's a rich man, you know what I mean? And I think he would take a pay cut to come back to Celtic. I don't think he would go 110 grand a week to 30. I really don't. There'd have to be a compromise there somewhere. And I don't think the guy should be expected to do that either, to be quite honest, because it's a short career. He's got a family, and his family's family to think about. So, but if the only thing that would make me think twice, and it wouldn't be a deal breaker for me, but it'd make me think twice if it was only on loan. I would take him. Right, let's be honest, I'd be buzzing. I'd be really excited about it. But I'm not necessarily they'd be wanting to stunt Greg Taylor's progression as a player under Rodgers by somebody coming in for like 20, 30 games, you know what I mean? And I'm not entirely sure if that's a position that we need upgraded, but he would accept him in a moment's notice. That guy would improve Celtic, especially because we saw him play centre-back for Scotland before, or at least I have. So he's able to step in as well. So there could be a wee situation where, should Carter Vickers be longer than what we're expecting, he could slot in there next to Starfelt. And the guy's just he's a class act. He'd be the only genuine world-class player in Scotland if he came, because there's not many world-class players come to Scotland at 26. If we get a guy of that ability to come through Celtic's gates again, and I think he would definitely be expecting or he'd be certainly have an audience there waiting on him, because I'd be buzzing if I could. I'd be waiting on him.
This is the thing. David Russell, by the way, loads of good points you put in the live chat, so it's great to bring one up. And this is the difference on the bus. As you know, in the T.N.F, we're the only one who brings up points that disagree with us. This is what we do. Greg Taylor is more dependable. It's an unpopular opinion. We're married to the KT of the past. I think what you find, though, David, is if the KT of the past, is that you, Mark, barking, or is it your dog?
No, it's that fucking neighbour. I'm telling you, don't move in to somebody that's got a barking dog. Honestly, dogs should just sit there and just keep quiet unless they ask a question.
I thought it was you, mate.
I'm not barking, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I mean,
no, it's fine. It was really faint. It was just me who heard it, mate. Greg Taylor, more dependable. I'm gonna speak for David here, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing he means fitness-wise. But is that not the fucking blessing, Mark, of having two quality players for each position? That you go, okay, if he's struggling fitness-wise, how good is that we've got Greg Taylor to step in?
Yeah.
These are the conversations, Mark. I struggle not to be... I find Celtic supporters at times they're conditioned, by the way. This hasn't always been the way. It's been because of, as we spoke about earlier, the underspending, the lack of ambition that has been shown. That we just expect one really good player for a position, or hopefully a really good player, and the other one, just a player who could play that role. And fuck that. Greg Taylor might have just had his best season at Celtic, and we improve on it. And then if he has got injury niggles, well, the guy who did so well last year steps in. How exciting is it? That to me is what we're looking for in all positions of that part. And once you complete that jigsaw, mate, then you're really cooking with gas. Now, that's probably the most impossible puzzle for Celtic to ever complete. But let's try and get a few pieces in.
I'll definitely, mate. I mean, and it stands to reason that Celtic fans do have their favourites and get conditioned, as you say, to just like the person rather than the player himself. I mean, if you look at Kyogo, for talking sake, if we get a chance to get a player that would totally and utterly take his jersey off him, you buy him. I mean, no matter how much you like Kyogo and how infectious he is, it's the same with Greg Taylor. If there's players out there that are better than any player we've got in the park, you take them. You know what I mean? We've all got our favourites at the club. I'm a big fan of Joe Hart, but I'm at this position where I'm saying, if Celtic come in and find a better keeper, then bring him in and tell Joe Hart he's number 2. Then the second half of the time, we've got an able deputy. And Greg Taylor is able to play at Ibrox, able to play in Europe. So if we bring in, for talking sake, a Kieran Tierney who can be the number 1 at left back, if anything happens to him, which it probably would because he's an injury record, we've got somebody who's capable of stepping in. And if you got that out of the park, then we're going to have an exciting team next season. We've spoke about last season the drop-off from Carter Vickers to Kobayashi and drop off from Kyogo to O. So there's no start flipping that on its side and saying, no, I'm not wanting to have two great players at one position because we can only keep one. No, if you're wanting a major drop off, then you're going to have a player who's number one with somebody who's very good, who's just ready to step in. I mean, that's the same with Taylor and Tierney.
Raising standards left, right, and centre, Mark.
Right.
It's fascinating. Now, before you go, one more thing I want to talk to you about, and it is the
Ukraine-Russia crisis.
Yeah, I actually really want your opinion on that. Let's have a wee chat about the trip to Dublin and playing Wolves. Obviously, there was rumours it was going to be Spurs. I indulged on them because I like chatting on the bus, and you know, we all want to go to Ireland, mate, and we all want to watch our favourite team play. We'll have a good time. What do you make of the reported ticket price? I'm just going to confirm it now, in case the rumours aren't right. Celtic Wolves tickets. Let's look at the ticket information.
I seen the special family deal for €120 was one I giggled at. You get a special price for that. I think it's €35 the cheapest, and then they go up to 65.
€35 the cheapest, then it goes up to €85.
85. I think that's scandalous, mate. Well, I know Ireland's a very, especially Dublin. I mean, that's one of the most expensive cities you can ever visit. I read them, but I think it's just, again, it's supply and demand, and they know they're going to get it sold out, and probably will sell out. Let's be honest. I just think it's cheeky, boysy. This fell into their lap. This fell into a people's lap.
The people, Mark. This is the point I wanted to push more.
Aye.
Right? I would go. If you went to Ireland and just stayed at the airport hotel, it would cost you fucking less than going to see a team that the rest of the season, a lot of these fans that you're about to milk on ferries, planes, etc., all throughout the season. And then when we come to your town, we add on a Celtic tax to the tickets. I think these fans that and we know what we're doing. We're going to Dublin. We're doing the PR for it. How special it is to come to Ireland. See, if it's that special, why not reward them? Because
I reward your Irish fan base.
They're the ones that spend fucking fortunes week on week, Mark, to come over, and make trips and have to make sacrifices with their work or their family to go over, and hundreds of pounds to see Celtic. Yeah, when Celtic come to town, they don't just get a standard friendly rate. No, we've got to push the boundaries. We've got to milk it a bit. That I find a wee bit distasteful, if I'm completely honest. And I'm in the summer of love, as I've said many a time with Celtic right now. That though, and I've liked the new strips, and I still believe that there is a plan that excites me transfer wise, but that annoyed me.
Well, I seen on Twitter yesterday, somebody told me that they've changed the terms and conditions to a season ticket for 29 to 19 games now, 21 to 19. What I was going to say on that was, forever, we've been getting every friendly match basically for free on a season ticket. The guys in Ireland are only going to spend their money to come and see that. So they're losing out on that free incentive, right? So this was a time to pay them back, as you said. Pay them back for the guys who are going to go travel to Glasgow. You know what I'm saying? It's shocking. I mean, as I'm saying, so folk that only going to travel to Glasgow to go and watch Celtic v Sheffield Wednesday for free. So this was their chance to see it in their own back garden as part of their book. There should be a discounted price on that, or even free. And Aviva, this fell on Aviva's lap. They're probably the ones that have organised it. Both Wolves and Celtic get let down by what happened in South Korea, or whatever it is supposed to be. So, I mean, that they could have, I think €35, it's a lot, man. It's like 30 quid. And I see that, I had to laugh. I mentioned it.
Basic price in the market, isn't it? That's
120 quid for a family ticket. 120 quid.
Well, now this is weird because it says family, 2 adults and 2 children. The ticket is €30.
No, but for the full family.
No, it must mean a family ticket is €30 each, right? It can't
even. So that'd be 120. I'm pretty sure.
It does say in brackets family, 2 adults, 2 children ticket, €30.
Aye, so that'd be 30 each, 120 quid, and it says limited availability, and they must only be selling so many It's that. I bought €30 each to it works out. Because I think there's a child ticket. I think 35 is the starting place. I don't think you can buy a child ticket. And so it's shocking me. I mean, I think football tickets, I mean, in Scotland, you've seen Celtic fans for years holding up banners. It's £28 to watch Livingston v Celtic, and it's only 22 to watch Bayern Munich v Bayer Leverkusen. It just doesn't add up, mate. But 20 quid, mate. I definitely. But these guys in Ireland, you mentioned that it's a good way of putting it, because I heard Celtic say the day that they were rewarding their fans in Ireland. How are they rewarding the fans? They're actually milking the bastards.
It's Harlem Globetrotter pish from a club that's meant to be different. You know, and that's where I'm like, now you are just becoming like that. You think you're the Harlem Globetrotters. You go to Australia because the manager's Australian, cash in $6 million. You go to Japan because your former manager used to work in Japan. You've got
he set it up, fuck's sake.
You've got 5 Japanese players, make a few million. Then you go, and these countries, by the way, have backed us. Look at the bus, the demographic who watches the bus, and please don't think I'm comparing us with Celtic, but as a Celtic fan demographic, look how many viewers we've had for Australia. So if that was replicated in kits getting bought, say, from the Celtic shop, things like this, Mark, right? Celtic fan TV subscriptions in Australia. Have you not? I wonder what the tickets were over there. Probably crazy. I just think we could, if you want to really promote your brand, fine. You've got to go to far corners of the world. Do it at a fair price. But see, when it comes to Dublin, Ireland, that's where we're... I mean, if you know your history, do we even go there? What the fuck are we talking about? We're not playing a big testimonial or something over there. It's not James... And we could talk about James Forrest if you want before you go as well. We're not playing James Forrest's testimony over there where it's a big occasion. We're playing Roy Keane's testimony if it was Ireland against Celtic and the tickets would be expensive. We're playing Wolves. Fucking, to quote Roy Keane, Wolves. Fucking Wolves.
I know, mate.
Really?
Glamour friendly. It's been teed up to be a glamour friendly, and I don't think for a minute it's a glamour friendly, to be honest with you, mate. I did see as well that you mentioned the tickets for Ireland and all the rest of it. I think the tickets for the James Forrest game, they're pretty cheap. They're about 13, 14 quid, £20 for an adult or something. Now that's more like it. What's that?
Did they start at that price? Have they been reduced?
I think you can get hospitality for about 20 odd quid in Club Celtic. I think they're pretty decent. You know what I mean, that's the sort of prices I think. See, any friendly match should be. I mean, normally they don't really cost you if it's on your book, but if anything, it's like 15 quid. You know what I mean? And I'm all for Celtic to make money, and I'm only talking about it because you mentioned it. And I think it's only fair for us to look at the club. I mentioned it last night about Celtic fans look at the club in every way possible. We don't just sit and just happy clap everything. I think the club's got a bit of responsibility when it comes to, we're in a cost of living crisis. I mean, they gave us 2 less games this season after a season ticket, put the prices up something like 4 or 5%, and that was applauded as being this excellent reward for the fans. When you look into it, you go, hang on a minute, is it really? No Champions League qualifiers, great, but no cup game for free, probably again. You used to get 2 friendlies and a cup game. In fact, I remember Fergus McCann, you get free train travel and all. You used to go on the trains for nothing under tight ass Fergus McCann. He struck that deal with.
He was doing the right thing there.
Aye, and I just.
He invented the season ticket scheme.
What's that? We didn't have, mate. We only had
it. No, he didn't invent it. He brought that into Celtic.
Well, there was only a few thousand we had, and he actually in the 80s, before he came near Celtic, he actually pitched the idea to Celtic, and I'm only just quoting him, and he said the board were very hands off. You get season tickets, you get an entitled fan base who want tickets for away games and the rest of it. He is right. They were right. The board were right, but he was talking about guaranteed income, and that's what Celtic were way behind.
Which every club though in the world, like look at even Ross County wouldn't sacrifice anything for their guaranteed income. So there is a business model behind it that makes sense. But if you want to do that business model, if you remember, I think I've told you this a million times, but you know the '94 World Cup in America, ITV or STV, and Celtic advertised it on the telly, season tickets and the price. It's an advert during the World Cup game.
There you go then.
Fucking clever, eh?
Well, Fergus McCann was shrewd. I remember when Celtic...
World Cup, what a statement of intent that is. You've been in the door 2 minutes and suddenly you're seeing Celtic season
It
ticket.
probably costs a lot of money to try and advert during that, even in Britain, it would cost a lot of money. I mean,
clever,
but
though,
I'm just going to mention there, like, Celtic
Go
were building the stadium under him. I don't know if they were doing something with the main stand at the time, but the TV signals were all messed up when about Celtic Park, and there was people writing to Celtic about their TV signals, and Rex McCann wrote a letter to them all just saying, anybody with a problem, just come to the main reception with your TV licence and we'll refund you. And nobody in fucking East End of Glasgow's got a TV licence, and they did it in the mid-90s. So it was a brilliant bit of PR he did there and all. He volunteered to give them the money back, but unfortunately nobody paid their fee. I always find that funny for under
That's mad,
Rex McCann. I remember hearing a story about, just quickly, about a scout who went to look at a player for Celtic, and he came back with his receipts for his dinner or whatever, and Rex McCann said to him, what's this, chicken Kiev? He went, that was $4.50, and he went, next time you get that, get it without the Kiev. I think that's quite funny.
That's Dynamo Patter for our man Fergus, and on that note we will leave it there. Judge Kearney, we've done a wee T.N.F on our own. That was good fun. I don't know if it's me who's unpopular or it's you who's unpopular, but nobody wants to join us anymore, mate. It's just going to be me and you, I think, for the foreseeable.
I'm stinking, mate. That's what I'm barking.
No, everyone likes you, mate. You're definitely not stinking. I've seen that fucking kitchen of yours. But yeah, David's on holiday. He's in Orlando, so a big shout out to him. Johnny's, in every corner of the world. Steve was on holiday and at least had, the drink in him to join us for 15 minutes. Good lad. And everyone else who is on the bus right now, all those passengers, thank you so much for contributing to another fantastic T.N.F. It is 10:20 on a Thursday night. The weekend has just begun. Has Celtic's transfer window